When painting over the top of impasto, it's just like using the paints at any other time. We can just paint directly on, or we can glaze, use washes, any sort of method that you would normally use on any other surface. I'm going to try a little bit of antiquing and glazing medium mixed in with the paints to thin them out a little bit and allow a little bit of time to move the paint around. And you can see this helps the paint catch in areas and allows the texture to really show through. You're not just limited to using a brush, of course, and this glazing medium over the top of the impasto really allows the paint to catch in the cracks and crevices of the impasto and gives quite an interesting effect. So I'm mixing water-based patina and glazing medium with the paint. Here I'm using Australian sienna, Australian yellow and Australian red violet, and we'll just go back in a minute with the Australian red violet and just put a few highlights in. These colours are brilliantly transparent, well, not so much the Australian yellow, but two of these colours are brilliantly transparent and give a myriad of different hues and tones. And now I'll just use the brush to soften some of the areas so the rag marks aren't too obvious. So not only can the water-based patina be used for antiquing and aging things, but we can mix any of the colours with the water-based patina, and this allows us time to move the paint around on our surface. Now that our colours have dried, I'm going to make use of the texture we put down before with the impasto medium, and just, you might call it almost dry brush or add some colour, good amount of paint here just to fill the top of this plateau. And then what I'd like to do with this is use some airbrushing to just define these colours a little, and that'll be the next step and the last step. The Matisse structure, flow, or indeed inks will all go through an airbrush down to the finest tip. I'm using the Matisse Inks here. However, if you own the flow or the structure, you can reduce them down with surface tension breaker and some water to the same sort of viscosity. And of course there's a larger range of colours in the flow of the structure. Now I'm going to add a little bit of shadow to this picture. Leaving the overspray to run over onto the cobalt turquoise, I'm using violet here through the airbrush, works over the cobalt turquoise as well as onto the background to shadow.